If you're a real estate investor and are wondering how to raise and leverage private money to make more profit on every deal, then you're in the right place. On Raising Private Money, we'll speak with new and seasoned investors to dissect their deals and extract the best tips and strategies to help you get the money, because the money comes first. Now here's your host, Jay Conner.
Welcome to Taking the Leap into Commercial Real Estate, the #1 podcast dedicated to helping you get comfortable in the commercial real estate arena and equipping you with the latest market news, insights, and strategies you need to make informed decisions about investing. Now, let's get into today's episode with your hosts, Angel and Brittany Gonzalez.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us again here on Taking a Leap into Commercial Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Angel Gonzalez. I got my guest host here, Alvin Ciano, who can say hello.
Hello. Good to be here.
And we actually have the honor today of actually really getting into private money with today's good old guest of ours, and his name is Jay Conner. So I'm just going to jump right in and ask, Jay, can you please introduce yourself and describe what it is that you do?
Well, thank you so much, Angel and Alvin, for inviting me to come along here and talk about what I'm most passionate and excited about, that being private money. Why in the world am I so excited about private money? Well, I'll tell you, private money has had more of an impact on mine and my wife, Carol Joy's investing business than anything else that we've done. We've been investing, we've been investing in single-family houses, but we do commercial deals as well. We've done a shopping center from the ground up, condominiums, et cetera. But our focus has been single-family houses. Well, we've been doing that full-time since 2003 here in Eastern North Carolina in a really, really small town, a small target market of only 40,000 people is our total target market. And we do about 2 to 3 single-family houses a month. Average profits right now are $82,000 per deal. I do not say that to brag whatsoever. The reason I share that is to make a point, and that is you don't have to be in a huge market in order to make significant income. I like to be a big fish in a small pond and sort of own the market, you know. Well, here's what happened. From 2003 until 2009, January 2009 to be exact, all I knew to do to get my deals funded, Angel and Alvin, was to go to the local bank, get on my hands and knees, put my hands underneath my chin, and say, please fund my deal, and let my banker look up my skirt at all my personal assets and look at my verification of income and my credit score and get appraisals, and they made the rules, and that's all I knew to do. Well, it worked out pretty good okay for the first 6 years. And then, y'all, I remember I was sitting right here at this desk, and I had 2 houses under contract. This was in January 2009. And I called up my banker. His name was Steve. I called him a banker. I told him about these 2 deals. And let me tell you, I had this same kind of conversation for 6 years with Steve. And since they're no longer in business, I'll call them by name, BB&T, Branch Bank and Trust. God bless them. They're out of business. Anyway, so I call them up, tell them about these 2 deals, and Steve clears his throat and tells me over the phone, he says, well, Jay, I'm sorry, but we have closed your line of credit. I said, Steve, what in the world are you saying? You've closed my line of credit. We've been doing business for 6 years. He says, Jay, don't you know there's a global financial crisis going on right now? I said, no, but now you just gave me a global financial crisis, because now I can't fund these 2 deals that's representing over $100,000 in profit. So I hung up the phone and I sat here and I asked myself a very important question. And this question I'm getting ready to share that I asked myself, your audience, you can use this question to help fix anything you got going on in your life. I don't care if it's financial, health, personal, relationships. Here's the powerful question I asked myself. I said, who can help me with my problem? And by the way, these people running around saying every problem's an opportunity, I want to throw up. I didn't have no opportunity. I had a problem. I couldn't get my deals funded. Well, when I asked myself that question, who can help me with my problem? I immediately thought of my good friend, Jeff Blankenship, who lived in Greensboro, North Carolina at the time. And I called up Jeff and I told him what had just happened. He said, well, Jay, welcome to the club. I said, what club is that? He said, the club of getting cut off at the local bank. My bank cut me off last week. I said, well, how are you going to fund your real estate deals? He said, well, have you ever heard of private money? I said, no. He said, have you ever heard of self-directed IRAs and how people, just like ordinary people, can use their retirement funds to be a passive real estate investor and be a private lender and fund your deals? I said, no, I never heard of that. Well, I knew Jeff had told me something. So I studied private money and private lending, and I'm not talking hard money. I'm talking about doing business with human beings, individuals that use their investment capital and or their retirement funds to fund your real estate deals. So I put my program together, and you know what? I didn't ask anybody for money. I've yet to ask anybody for money since 2009. I got 47 private lenders funding our deals, never asking for money. And they say, Jay, how in the world do you get people to fund your deals and you don't ask them? Well, here's how. I attracted. I didn't chase. I didn't beg. I didn't sell. I didn't persuade. I attracted $2,150,000 in funding in the first 90 days. And here's how I did it. I put on my teacher hat and I started teaching people in my community that I go to church with and the Rotary Club and in my cell phone what private money is and how they can earn high rates of return safely and securely. So the money started chasing me. And so right now I got $8.5 million in private money from just regular individuals, that are funding our deals. And it's all about leading with a servant's heart, showing people. I mean, here's the interesting thing, Alvin and Angel. I'm going to call you all the A and A duo, dynamic duo there, the double A's. So here's the deal. These people, not one of my 47 private lenders ever heard of private money. They never heard of self-directed IRAs until I told them about it. So instead of asking for money and, trying to persuade people to fund my deals and that kind of stuff, instead of asking, I just simply put on my teacher hat, offered the opportunity on how to get involved. And as a result, I got more money than I can use. And, when people start doing private money the way I do, they got the same problem, got more money than you can use. And so I tell you what, that's just sort of it in a nutshell as to how this whole thing started and how I got involved in private money. And really, truthfully, it really was the biggest blessing in disguise. If I hadn't been cut off from the bank, I wouldn't be visiting with Angel and Alvin
awesome,
today.
Jay, I definitely love and appreciate the attraction. A lot of people, especially in sales and related industries, right? You chasing and running this way and running that way, but you really want to get to a point to where you just provide an opportunity. I'm trying to level up your life as well, and I did. You mentioned BB&T. I banked with BB&T. I went to college in South Carolina, Wofford College. So I know about BB&T as well. And then I ended up closing my account. God bless them.
God bless them. God bless them. Well, I can't. God can't even bless them because they don't even exist anymore.
Restructure somewhere else, but
they would have existed if they would have kept Jay's business.
Right? I'm sorry. It was self-inflicted.
What I'm saying?
No worries. Well, definitely great story, Jay. I love the journey. Can you share some significant milestones or turning points in your career that really shaped the path that you have been going down?
Yeah, in addition to private money, probably the biggest milestone, and I can interpret that word a lot of different ways. So I'm gonna interpret milestone with breakthrough. How about that? Breakthrough. So one of the biggest breakthroughs I discovered, also 6 years after being in this business in 2009, I discovered this thing called the Mastermind. I'd never heard of a mastermind or knew what a mastermind was. And looking at you guys, you're probably in 5 different mastermind groups, you know, and you probably say to yourself, why in the world am I in all these groups? I can't keep going to all these meetings. But anyway, you know, Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, everybody's read that book. Well, he's got a chapter in that book called The Mastermind, which is when a group of like-minded people get together that have got same goals, same struggles that they're working on. And this third mind evolves, and you actually have, you know, more wisdom that comes out of that group than just the sum of the parts. So I joined my first real estate investing mastermind group back in 2009. And as a result, since that time, I've been a member of multiple groups. I started running my own mastermind group, mercy, I guess about 10 or 11 years ago, where I've got high level real estate investors in my mastermind group. But the reason that was a breakthrough is because I experienced and still experienced so many breakthroughs, not only in real estate, but personally. You know, sometimes people will say, Jay, how do I get started in private money? What's the best way to get started? I can tell you how to get started in private money. It's the way you get started in doing anything brand new. And that is, before you can own any real estate, it's really going to be hard to do that until you own the real estate that's between your ears. I'm talking about your personal mindset, right? Get your head screwed on right. And so these mastermind groups that I've been a member of, and I'm still a member of, I was getting ready to say it's just as much about, that's not right. It's more about your mindset. It's more about your mindset than it is actually knowing the strategies, the techniques, the skills in whatever it is that you're doing in your vocation, whether it's real estate investing or something else. Because, I mean, for example, how many new real estate investors do you guys know that never really got off the ground? They learned what to do. They learned it's not a matter of knowledge. What was holding them back was implementation. And there's a long list of reasons why some people don't implement what it is they learn to do. I mean, it's everything from I don't feel like I deserve it to fear and a long list, but getting your mind straight. So, so the point of that story is, if somebody's listening to my voice right now and you have not discovered the mastermind, if you have not discovered a group of people that have got like-minded goals like you do, and most importantly, have got the same core values that you do, then seek them out. Seek them out. For all I know, Angel and Alvin, you running your own mastermind group. And if you are, and you're listening to my voice, you need to get in Angel and Alvin's mastermind group, right? Because, I mean, I don't know who came up with the phrase opposites attract. That's the most stupid thing I ever heard in my life. I want to hang around people that's like me, right? And so if you're listening to this show, that means you already resonate with Angel. You resonate with Alvin. Alvin wouldn't be here unless he resonated with Angel. So we've all got the same core values, right? We attracted each other into our world. And just seek out a mastermind group to where you can give and receive. Mastermind is just as much, if not more, about giving as it is receiving, because you want to be in a group that's got a core value of having a servant's heart, leading with value. And by the way, when I think of servant's heart, I think of the book, The Go-Giver. I know you all read it. One of the best books I've ever read. I was, in fact, on my podcast, which is called Raising Private Money. Can you imagine? On my podcast a few months ago, I had the co-author, Bob Bird, come on my show, co-author of Go-Giver, and I highly recommend that book. Anyway, that's one of the biggest breakthroughs that I've had is being involved.
I actually appreciate you talking about that. I know Alvin, one of the things that attracts me to him is he's all about mindset, all about how you go about like looking at everything. One of the best lenses I know of, by the way, in case anyone wants to know.
I always say that, everything that ever existed or will exist starts as a thought, right? So, that's the thought seed of everything.
Well, and everything expands outward. So whatever you want to manifest, all I'm doing now is repeating what you just said in a different way. So if you're listening to my voice, if you want to manifest something out here in your world, it all starts from the inside, as you just said. Everything moves from the inside to the outside, except there's one exception to that. Whoever you're hanging around, that outside is going to migrate to your inside. So be careful who you're hanging around.
It's funny because I remember growing up, my mom and my parents and family telling me that. And you know how many of us have kind of wanted to ignore that? They're like, you're friends. And you're like, oh, but I'm not like that person. Absolutely not true. You do, through osmosis, absorb back and forth. It's just the human condition. So I would definitely do believe in that. But I want to ask you something as you're thinking about private money, the field, like, how have you seen it evolve since you started, I guess? Because I know that is definitely something I continuously think about when I think about this private money, especially in our market today.
So when you ask how have I seen it evolve,
down on that. I want to tell you,
I
still believe there's a lot of people that do not understand the world of private money and do not understand strategies around it. And quite frankly, it's a foreign concept to a lot. And back to your point earlier, when you talked about masterminds, Alvin and I have gone through coast to coast for different things. And I can tell you that it's still shocking to me about a couple of different nuggets that are completely kind of like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Where do I find that information? And so that's why I'm wondering, how have you seen it?
Yeah. Well, most people, as you just alluded to, when they hear the term private money, they hear hard money, right? In fact, and by the way, I'm not knocking hard money lenders. I say establish as many relationships as you can with as many people that can help you with your funding. I've got really, really good friends that use my techniques to raise private money for their hard money fund that they turn around and lend out to real estate investors. It's all the same money. It's a matter of what are you attracting and raising that money for? Are you a hard money lender? Are you a hard money broker? Which most of the time is a middle person that raises money for their fund that they then charge points, origination fees, extension fees, charge a higher interest rate than they're paying their investors that invest in their fund. And what I do and what I teach is, you can go straight to the source. You can go, it's the same money, but go straight to the individuals that want to be totally passive, get high rates of return safely and securely. And, there's a lot of differences between hard money and private money. There is a movement right now. There's a movement among hard money lenders and brokers. Again, I got great friends that are hard money lenders and brokers. There's a movement to try to get rid of the hard money phrase. They're trying to get rid of the hard money term, right? And they call themselves private money, right? Well, they are loaning out private money, but it's not their money. They're loaning out individuals' money. So when we talk private money, we are talking doing business with human beings, individuals. And, my 47 private lenders, they are regular old people, just like you. Listen, I've got a couple. Well, unfortunately, the husband just recently passed away. But anyway, but the husband and the wife, both of them are retired school teachers from Mississippi. Some of the lowest paid teachers in the United States in Mississippi, and they are retired. And the widow is investing $1,250,000 in my real estate deals because they both worked in the school system for over 30 years. They never touched their retirement money, and it grew. And now they became retired and didn't know what to do with it. Well, what did I do? I put on my teacher hat and taught them an option as to what they could do with that retirement money. So ordinary people, school teachers, I got retired civil service workers. I've got people that are still working on the police force. So anyway, back to hard money and private money. So as we said, some people are just confused about really what that difference is. So if I can, I'll take just, a few seconds and highlight what are the big differences between hard money and private money. First of all, and here talk about getting your mindset right and getting your head screwed on right. Well, to get your head screwed on right, sometimes you just got to take your head off and put it back on and screw it on right? And get rid of what Zig Ziglar used to call stinking thinking, and let's get the right thinking going on. So here's what I mean. First of all, hard money lender makes the rules. Any kind of institutional money, they make the rules, right? That's pretty much all of us know. They set the interest rate. They set the length of the note. They set the frequency of payments. They set how much they're going to advance when you buy. They set what's the maximum loan to value. They set what's your minimum credit score. Everything I just said applies not at all, zero, to this world of private money. What do I mean by that? Well, here's the first thing to get straight. We make the rules. We make the rules. As the borrower, we make the rules. We set the interest rate. I've been paying 8% simple interest, not compounded interest, APR, annual percentage rate, 8%, ever since I started in February 2009, borrowing private money. I still pay 8% today. No points, no extension fees, 8%. And people, in this market, they'll say, Jay, how in the world are you still paying your lenders 8% and the interest rates have gone out of sight? I mean, prior to COVID, the average 12-month certificate of deposit yield got down to 0.17%. Well, today you can go down here on Bridges Street in Morehead City, North Carolina, to First Citizens Bank. You can get you a 7-month CD for 4%. They say, Jay, how are you not paying your private lenders any more interest? I say it's real simple. 2 answers. Number one, I make the rules, not the lender. I make the rules. Number two, 8%. Last time I checked my calculator, is still twice as much as 4%. Right? It's still a whole lot more money, right? So we make the rules, we set the rate, the frequency of payments. Now, how often we pay our private lenders really comes down to their objective, because different private lenders have got different needs. I got some retired private lenders that need the monthly income. They don't want to touch their principal investment amount, but they need the monthly income to live off of. Others are using retirement funds, and I've showed them how to move their retirement funds over to a self-directed IRA company. Well, that return isn't coming back to them directly. That just goes back to the self-directed IRA company. So again, but listen, I always bring home a big check when I buy a property. My real estate attorney that does all my closings on my purchases, I love her, my favorite phrase on her check stubs that I pick up is called excess cash to close. And I love me some excess cash. So I always am able to borrow more than I need for the deal. So they say, Jay, how do you bring home a check when you buy and you never take any of your own money to the closing table? Well, let me pull the curtain back on that little secret. Number one, I can't bring home, and you can't bring home a big check when you buy unless you're buying at a discount, right? You got to be buying at a significant discount, and most of your discounts on properties are going to come from properties that need some type of renovation or rehab. So here's my criteria in my program that I teach my private lenders that they love. I'll borrow up to 75% of the after repaired value. I didn't say 75% of the purchase price, 75% of the after repaired value. So here's a quick little example of that. Let's say, just for easy figuring, I'm buying a house with an after repaired value of $200,000. Now, I know in California, you can't even buy an outhouse for $200,000, but here in Eastern North Carolina, you still can. And I know down there in South Carolina, you can too. So if you got an after repaired value of $200,000, Well, let's say I buy that house for $100,000, and I do it all the time. If you got a house that's got an after repaired value of $200,000, it's got renovation of, $30,000 or $40,000, I'll buy that house all day long for $100,000. And so follow the math. I'm going to teach right now in a nutshell how you bring home a $50,000 check and take none of your own money to the closing table. After repaired value. Now listen, if you listen to my voice and you're not driving down the road, you might want to write this down. If you are listening and you're driving, come back and listen to this and write it down. So let's say you got an after repaired value of $200,000. Let's say I'm going to buy it for $100,000. I do it all the time when they need renovations. Well, what is 75% of $200,000? $150,000. So that means I can borrow $150,000 from the private lender when I buy. That's 75% of the after repaired value. Well, now here's your test question. If I buy it for $100,000, which I do all the time, and $150,000 is wired into my real estate attorney's trust account, my closing agent, well, that's $50,000 more wired into the trust account than is needed to buy it for $100,000. So I'm bringing home a check, less closing costs, of $50,000. Who wants to get paid to buy houses, right? So get paid to buy houses is what I'm talking about. So I bring home a $50,000 check. Now I'm going to use $30,000 or $40,000 of that $50,000 check to do the renovations, right? And my private lender is counting on me to perform. You see, private lenders ain't investing in your deals. They're investing in you. They're investing in you, the operator, right? So I'll use 30 or 40 to renovate that house. I got about 10 left over. Then I'll go sell it for the after repaired value of $200,000. I still owe my private lender $150,000 that I borrowed because I'm paying or accruing interest only. That's a win for them and a win for me. And so I'll sell it for $200,000. I still owe the private lender $150,000. I'll pay my realtor fees 5% to sell it. So that's $10,000. So between bringing home 50 when I bought it, I keep about 10 of that. And then I bring home another 50 and 10 goes to the realtor. So you see, on that $200,000 house, I'm on a net about $40,000 at the end of the deal. But that's just a quick little example of how the money works when you're using private money. So the difference between hard money and private money, bottom line, your credit score ain't got nothing to do with it. My private lenders never pull my credit score. They never look at my verification of income, right? There's never any appraisals. We use my realtor's comparative market analysis. So the bottom line, close quickly. I make all my offers. You can close in 7 days. And listen, I just closed on a deal at 5012 Highway 101, Harlow, North Carolina, last week. And I bought that house. And the only reason I got that deal is because I could close in 7 days with private money. And I let them live in the house for 30 days for free. But that's how I got the deal. I get more offers accepted because I let them live in the house for whatever period of time we agree on. But here's the secret. They don't get all their proceeds until they're out of the house. Ask me how I learned that little situation.
Well, you're going to ask that
one. So they get half their proceeds when I close. They get the other half when their assets have moved out.
Do not want to go down that rabbit hole because it can. Okay.
No, I only had to do that one time.
Definitely good. Learning throughout the years, the experience. I mean, and that's something that plays a part, right? For somebody that's just beginning, they may not know that, and they end up learning the hard way. So that's real good.
That's another reason to join up in the Mastermind group, because of the Mastermind group, that will save you from making those very expensive mistakes like I have done, particularly those first 6 years before I discovered Mastermind groups. and you learn from each other's mistakes. So, and it saves you a lot of money and a lot of stress.
Well, definitely appreciate that rundown. Jay, how about, can you share a unique or interesting project or maybe a capital raise that you did, and what really made it unique and interesting?
Boy, I got a lot of them to choose from. I've renovated over 500 houses, and every one of them's got their own story. Okay, well, here's a unique one. I just pocketed $160,000 on this deal last week, so that's pretty fresh on my mind. So here's the unique deal, and I'll tell you what made it unique. So oceanfront condominium here at Atlantic Beach, North Carolina at Colony by the Sea. Top floor, oceanfront. You look like when you're in the living room, you're looking out from a cruise ship over the ocean. Absolutely just drop dead gorgeous. So I run multiple ads, Google ads. And what I love about people responding to Google ads is that they're looking for us. These are motivated sellers. Now I run Facebook ads too, where, the Facebook ad just shows up in the news feed. But what I love about Google is that you got motivated sellers that are going into Google and they're searching for 75 different hot phrases, such as sell my house fast, buy my house fast, that kind of stuff. And so we had this individual, his name is Brian. Brian contacted us from one of my Google ads. And this was just 5 weeks ago. He 5 weeks ago contacted us on a Google ad on this oceanfront condo. Well, he had two major layers of motivation. One layer of motivation is he inherited this condominium from his parents. Both of them had passed away, and he lives out of state. He don't have any interest in coming here to use it. His second layer, so it was inherited, right? His second layer of motivation was it was going to the courthouse steps at the foreclosure sale in less than 2 weeks from contacting us 5 weeks ago. So there's your two layers of motivation. So he contacted us. So we knew we had to move fast. So, and I'm telling you, you cannot make money in slow motion. I'll tell you that. So we had to move fast. So immediately we go over and we get access to take a look at it. Let me tell you, this thing was beautiful. I'm talking luxury furniture. And anyway, so we look at it. This condominium needed a whopping $11,300 in renovation. Interior paint. Nothing. It needed nothing, right? So we did interior paint, cleaned up a few zoinks, into sheetrock, and new front door, and that's it. So anyway, we got it all ready to go. So private money. If I had not had private money available, I couldn't have closed in 7 days, which I did. I closed in 7 days. Bought it with private money for $425,000. And my realtor had already told me we could sell it and get multiple offers if you list it for $595. Wow. $595. Well, I didn't have to take this deal to the committee to get this deal approved. I said, I think that math's going to work. So we did the renovation in less than a week. And I listed it for $595. I wanted to list it for $625, but I just couldn't see the comps out there. Anyway, so here's a little secret. So we listed it on Monday. Now, I always get a music video, Matterport, drone footage, all that stuff. We use Lighthouse videos right here. So I had a music video and about 50 professional pictures by Lighthouse videos. So we put it in a multiple listing service on Monday under the category coming soon. Now, y'all, this is a big secret right here. Coming soon. Now, what coming soon means is you can look at the video, you can look at the pictures, you can see the price, but you can't get in. It's like making them wait to go inside a furniture store that's going out of business. So I'm building up demand, right? So we go coming soon on Monday, and we're going to go active on Friday. So I want them lined up with appointments on Friday to get in. So we go active at 8 a.m. on Friday morning. Well, now Thursday night between 7:30 and 9 o'clock before going active on Friday, I had 2 all cash offers unseen. They'd seen the pictures, they'd seen the video, but they hadn't been inside the condo. And so, I mean, this thing is, I mean, it was furnished. I mean, it looked like it was ready for Southern Living magazine pictures. So 2 all cash offers Thursday night. Well, they were lowball offers, right? So nothing good on them. Anyway, come Friday when we went active, we had 5 showings on Friday. We had 3 offers on Friday night. And one offer came in at about 7 o'clock on Friday night from a realtor. Me and Carol Joy were eating dinner at Soundside Restaurant. And so the offer comes in on my cell phone, $610,000. That's $15,000 over list. No appraisal, no all cash, no contingencies, close in 7 days because they wanted to get in there, by July 4th. And I'm looking at it and saying, well, there's no reason not to accept this. So I texted my realtor back, accept the offer. About 45 seconds goes by and my realtor texts me back. He says, hold the phone. I just got another all cash offer in from another realtor. I said, but I already accepted. He says, I ain't sent it in. You're okay. I haven't sent it in. So now the next all cash offer comes in at $628,000, all cash, no contingency, want to close, to get in by July 4th. And I said, Lord, there is a lesson in that little situation. Don't be so quick and happy to accept your offer. Just sort of at least sleep on it before you accept the offer, Anyway, so we just closed on it, $628,000. Bought it for $425,000. Renovation was $11,300. And by the time I paid my realtor $31,000, which I was glad to do, I netted $170,000. And so what's the takeaway lesson from that little story? Had to have private money to close within 7 days. You ain't going to use no institutional commercial money and close in 7 days. So I had the private money ready to go. I had my Google ads in place for when they were searching. And I was ready to move fast. So knowing how to find the deal, have the private money ready to go. And by the way, and I know we got to wrap up here in 2 minutes, but by the way, I know I'm getting ready to say something real quick. And I know you all have heard it and it makes me want to throw up. These gurus going around the nation on the platform saying, oh, just get the deal under contract. The money will show up. I want to say, where is the money going to show up? Is it just going to rain out of clouds or something?
Right.
I know y'all heard that mess before. Just get the money, just get the deal under contract. So that's why I say, get the money lined up first. It don't take long. Get the money lined up first, and then think about how much more confident you're going to make with money burning a hole in your pocket, making offers on deals.
Jay,
anyway, that's my
Wilmington
story, and I'm sticking to it. Atlantic Beach, North Carolina, right across the high rise from Morehead City.
Well, since we do have to wrap up quick, I know Alvin was going to jump on, but I want to make sure that this question gets asked. So we have 2 final questions that you can do. The first one being, we call this the Keystone question. It's really important to us. So our motto is faith, family, giving. I would just ask you, of those 3, which one would be the most important that you think resonates with you?
Faith.
Perfect. Yeah. Faith. My man. Faith. And that's what, and then the other part is, because of time, we'll just say one last part is, how do people find out more about you and what you got going on, Jay?
Absolutely, Angel and Alvin, thank you so much. So I just launched, listen, if you're listening to my voice, you want to make note of this. I just launched my brand new 7-day private money challenge. So what in the world is the 7-day private money challenge? So I have recorded 7 video trainings on private money where I dive deep to help you get the private money. They're only 15 to 20 minutes each, and I just launched them. So when you enroll in the private money 7-day challenge, you'll immediately get the very first 15, 20-minute training video. And then every morning for the next 6 days at 10 a.m. Eastern in your email inbox, you'll get the subsequent training videos. Very, very easy to understand. Here's how you can join me in the 7-day Private Money Challenge. Go to jayconner.com/7 days. And that's the numeral 7 days, DAYS. So jayconner.com/7 days. Come join me. You'll learn how to raise private money, and I guarantee you,
we
you're
like
going
to
have a lot
have
of
fun,
fun
Jay.
too.
Definitely appreciate it.
Hey, we appreciate Jay. Thanks so much for taking the time. As we wrap up another episode of Taking a Leap in a Commercial Real Estate Podcast, I just want to thank Jay for being with us here today, as well as Alvin, our co-host. And I just want to always make sure everyone keeps in mind, as part of our motto in our podcast, is building relationships is really about going deep and not wide. And you're going to know that why, because guys like Jay can actually use those relationships in order to maximize profitability as well. So keep going deep, because these relationships matter. Otherwise, I'll just say, have a great weekend, guys, and take care.
Thank you for joining us on the Taking the Leap into Commercial Real Estate podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to support us by subscribing and leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And remember, the views and content shared on this podcast do not reflect that of Keystone Private Capital. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Are you feeling inspired by the knowledge you gained in this episode? Then head over to jayconner.com/moneyguide. That's jayconner.com/moneyguide. And download your free guide that shares 7 reasons why private money will skyrocket your real estate investing business right now. Again, that's jayconner.com/moneyguide to get your free guide. We'll see you next time on Raising Private Money with Jay Conner.